Jim. Where's Jim?
Me?
Jim, there you are. Of course, right in front of me. Where else would you be? So, being accused of being a greedy developer, right? So what I'm going to show you right now is exactly how to move that needle from being a greedy developer to having a whole community of local people with a vested interest in what you're doing. Now, I was given, by using digital capital formation, digital marketing to raise money for your projects online. Now, I was given 15 minutes to do this presentation. It usually takes me about an hour to do this presentation. And one of the advantages of digitizing your pitch when you try and raise money is that your prospects can watch it or listen to it online afterwards. And the big advantage of that, of course, is that they can watch at double speed. So because we don't have much time, I'm going to give this speech in double speed. So crowdfunding. All right, so obviously not, but it is one of the big advantages. All right, so I am Adam Gower, and if you want to raise more capital for your real estate projects, if you want to have a built-in supporter base for planning applications, if you want to expand your investor network, if you want to raise more from your existing network of investors, and if you want to free yourself forever of the dog and pony show of going to pitch meetings to raise money from investors, and if you want to put that entire capital formation effort on autopilot, congratulations. Because what you're going to learn today will put you at the leading edge of real estate syndication. By the end of this presentation, you will know more than 99.9% of real estate professionals in America. Real estate syndication online is a complete game changer. And what you're going to learn is what changed and why it's transforming your world today, the exact system architecture that is used by best-of-class practitioners today, the 6 steps to building an investor pipeline, how to create the perfect messaging machine to your investors, best practices for creating content, and how to automate the entire system so that you can raise more money and build an asset for your company that keeps on raising capital for you even while you're asleep, as cliched as that sounds. All right? So I need a little water. Let me grab some water. Of course, I put it somewhere I could find it, like I couldn't see you, right? I like to tell my students at Poly when I teach there, just need a quick slug of vodka on it. All right, so let's get started. I'll talk about briefly my background. So my experience in real estate investment and finance has been through 3 major downturns. I have raised over 500 million of real estate equity in person, right, over my career, actually meeting with people. I ran spreadsheets, wrote pitch decks, networked to find prospective investors, wined and dined them, right, arranged meetings, traveled to conference rooms just like this, made presentations just like this, handed out physical paper documents, right, with color pictures to explain what it was so that my prospect had something to take back with them and put in a drawer somewhere. You know that routine if you've ever tried to raise money. And in 2007, I sold my entire real estate portfolio right before the downturn. And I was brought into a major national bank at C-suite level, and then subsequently into one of the biggest private equity funds in the world. And my job was to sell distressed assets. So I sold approximately $1 billion of distressed assets that were basically real estate collateralized debt, right? Loans, commercial loans that developers and sponsors had taken out but were defaulting on. And my job was to find investors. And I had hundreds of deals, right? And thousands of supporting documents. And I built a fully automated email communication system, right? Because I had thousands of prospects that I had to deal with, and I had to distribute very effectively thousands of documents to them. I had to accept incoming cash wires from people buying the assets that I was selling, and I had to coordinate contract execution. It was a very complicated machine to put together. And what I learned from that was the power of mass communication online, doing it digitally. The power of trial and error, sending an email to 1,000 people, judging the response, and then tweaking the email to make it better to send to the next 1,000 people. I learned how to sell online, and I learned the power of automating the entire process. Now, for those of you who were around about 12 years ago, 10, 12 years ago, when the Great Recession hit, you will know there was a great irony. And that great irony was that real estate professionals, just like you, didn't have money, right? Liquidity had dried up. All the usual investors were shrinking back. And the irony was that there was a huge population of cash-rich people, doctors, accountants, attorneys, other professionals, entrepreneurs who were doing well during the downturn, but they didn't have access to the deal flow like you did. But they had all the money. And at that time, in 2007, actually everything from 1933, to be technical, to 2012, it was prohibited for you as a developer to solicit from anybody you didn't know, right? You couldn't go to the people that had money. It was illegal to do it online, to solicit online. And then in 2012, the Jobs Act was passed. So why should you care about the Jobs Act, right? So it did one fundamental thing. It allowed general solicitation, which means that you can now syndicate your real estate deals online. You can raise money online, but that's the good news. The bad news is it's no longer an option, right? Having a strong digital presence online has become a mandatory minimum requirement. Why? Because, first of all, it gives you, as a first mover, a competitive advantage over everybody else that's sitting on their hands and not raising money online. Second, it's how investors consume information about you. Nobody wants to go to a meeting and sit for 2 hours to listen to a pitch. They want to consume your pitch online. So if you don't, if you don't have a presence online, you simply don't exist. If somebody is looking for you because they heard your name and they type your name in and nothing meaningful pops up except your competitors' names, you cease to exist. So, if you want to raise money to invest in real estate or tap your existing network, investor network, expand your network to more investors and get ahead of your competitors and raise potentially unlimited capital so you can dominate real estate investment, particularly in the town or city where you operate, then I'm going to show you right now exactly how to do that. So what this is the investor acquisition funnel. And there are two key things I want you to pay attention to as we look at this. Now, as you know, funnels traditionally go down, but my slide goes from side to side, so I've nudged it on its side. But being aware of how plumbing works, you should be okay with it. It's under pressure. So here's the mouth of the funnel, what's called top of funnel. And what we create here is an investor journey. So your investor starts at this point. Don't worry, I'm going to walk you through everything you need to know, right? So you can hopefully apply this for your own business when you get back today. They start here at the top of the funnel, and as they move through, this is called the investor journey. To the invest now point, they go through what's called a know, like, and trust sequence. That's where they get to know, like, and trust you. So let's see, I think I've actually got a pointer here. Oh, look at that. There we go. That's nice. So the first thing to do is to build out your social media presence. Don't worry, it's not quite as frightening as that sounds. But you've got to have a presence on LinkedIn, 575 million users. Twitter, 321 million users. Facebook, 2.23 billion users. Instagram, 1 billion. YouTube, 1.3 billion. What do these numbers mean? They mean everybody, all your prospects are online. That's what it means, right? Simply stated. So first, you build out your, I can't do this very well with the laser, but you build out your social media presence. And there are 4 core components to how exactly to do that. First of all, you must have consistency in design. Everything that you put on all your channels need to speak to your brand and to your story. Second, core component. Your messaging must be consistent also across each channel with the nuances that those channels broadcast, right? But it has to be the same consistent messaging. Remember, if you have a LinkedIn profile, your profile is not a resume unless you're looking for a job. Right? If you're looking for a job, put a resume up. If not, then you want to have your business messaging up there. This is prime digital real estate. This is rent-free prime real estate into which has been invested hundreds of billions of dollars to make it the most effective communication system ever known to man. The third core component is that you must always communicate value. You must always think in terms of the listener. Give them something of value. What's in it for them? And it has to be something tangible. Like today, I'm showing you exactly how to build this, so you can go ahead when you get back and actually build this for yourselves. In the same way, if you're pitching a deal, you want to explain something of value to your investor, not just about how great you are, right? But give them something of value. And the fourth core component is always, always, always include a call to action, a CTA. What a CTA does is it projects your prospect through their investor journey, through the funnel. It is asking them to do something after they've consumed your content. That might be download this. It could be a white paper or a case study that you put together. It could be a find out more button, right, that moves them through the funnel. Or it could be an invest now button, right, something that moves them along this journey. It is the analog, it is the digital equivalent of the analog when you meet somebody of following up, right? You would never leave a meeting and say, you would always leave a meeting by saying, all right, well, how are we going to follow up, right? What's our next step? I'll send you this. You'll send me that. Once you've read this, we'll have a call. You always have a follow-up. That's the digital equivalent. Step 2 is that you build content. And that's this over here. You're going to start building content. And content, to put into your social media channels, means creating videos, audio recordings, written work, could be a podcast, could be a webinar. And I've actually got a prop to show you. Actually, I'm not sure if it's on here. I actually created, because it's actually a little, the presentation's not on the screen in its entirety, but I actually created this literally on the back of an envelope, right, while I was preparing for this. I wrote it out on the back of an envelope that then became a video that, a slide, digitally projected, that is now going to be on a video that will now go out ultimately on social media, right, this presentation. And when you create content, you use a system called content compounding. And content compounding is where you take one piece of content, pillar content, and you create from that multiple other types of content. So, for example, if you record a video of you speaking or giving a presentation, you can download the audio, have the audio transcribed, edit it, and create a blog post or a thought leadership piece or an article that gets distributed in the press. You can break the video down into small components and distribute that. It's called content compounding. Now, you actually already do a lot of this. And I'm going to share with you now a technique that I employ for my high-end clients. I'm going to show you exactly how you can do this in a very powerful way. And actually, I'm going to have to jump now, sorry, to have this slight, here we go, content compound. Oh, there it is. I put it up on screen, right? There's my back of the envelope presentation on screen. Right? It's as easy as that. Anything that you produce. All right. So I'm going to take you through this technique that's very, very powerful. And here's what you do. So go to your latest set of offering documents and open up a Word file, right, to look at those. Or you could take a look at a list of your frequently asked questions, right? Whenever you pitch, people always asking you the same question, and you're always answering the same questions, right, when you pitch to raise money. So take those questions and extract the key concepts, those that are embedded in real estate jargon, and create from that your content. And I'll show you why that's so important. So here's an example from this is a real example from one of my clients. So here's a multifamily developer or value-add developer. And so we take out that term. What is multifamily? You know what it is, but what about your investing public, right, or your prospects? And you can break that down. Our multifamily means apartments. What kind of media are you going to be using to create this content? What are the talking points that you're going to be using? All right, and then here's some more, right? So here's an intermediate level, taken directly from an offering document for a fund, right? So this is how we create the body of information, all right? Preferred return. What is the preferred return? Right? You might know what that is, but your prospects don't. You want to explain it. By doing this, you create a corpus of content with multiple media that educates your prospects, right? Without overtly educating. You provide value by giving them information about something of high value to them, right? How to make money in real estate by investing as a passive investor. And your messaging works like a laser. When you derive it from your own offering documents, what you do is to create messaging that explains your investment strategy. It explains and educates your point of view so that your prospects, during the course of their journey of learning from you, become predisposed to invest with you. And that makes it easier for them to make the decision to sign the check when you ask them to invest. Step 3, here in the middle, reputation, leadership, and visibility, is that now you've created content that is being broadcast across all these social media channels that builds your reputation in the industry. It elevates your visibility. It establishes you as an authority in the industry. It positions you as a thought leader. And what does that do? Well, that's where the funnel starts to narrow. That's where you are able to grab a name and email address. Why? Because every single piece of content you put out there says, click here for more information. And as soon as you click here, you ask, tell me where you want me to send this. What name and email address shall I send it to? So now you capture a name and email address. And as soon as that happens, you've got them, right? Because now you can start to deliver emails in a completely automated fashion. So as soon as somebody gives you their name and email address, an automated email sequence kicks into place. It might be a welcome email with a CTA. It might be a weekly newsletter that you send out. It might be a new deal announcement, all right, or a case study. Step 4, the launch sequence. All right, so I've drawn this thing up here, this email sequence. This is one of the bolt-ons, the bolt-on products that we build for clients. And I've designed it like a bullet. Right? So I put it into a shape of a bullet because this is the deal killer right here. It's unbelievable how this works. This is a 9 email sequence over a 4 to 5 week period that utilizes proven digital marketing, best of class methodology that builds to an offer and then shuts the offer down. So if you want to raise money, what you might be doing is offering a 10% pref for a certain period of time, right? Instead of an 8. Or you might have some other special privilege for coming into a deal early. It has a strict deadline because that creates an FOMO response, fear of missing out, right? Creates urgency and scarcity. It's incredibly powerful system. And I just finished deploying another one of these for one of my clients. And at the end of this sequence, this 5-week period, we have 400 people, 400 high net worth individuals who we know have clicked on every single CTA in every one of those 9 emails. We can see who's reading what, and that 400 people, they have consumed everything we've sent them. It's really incredible. It is a hot list of prospects to follow up with and to raise money from. It's nothing like you could have ever done before. Step 5, you now take all that, now you've got the email address and name, now you take all your content that you created and you repurpose it, right? You change it. So something that was audio now becomes written. Something that was written now becomes audio. You can change things around. A thought leadership piece becomes, 2 thought leadership pieces become a white paper, etc. And you reintroduce this into your funnel. So it could be for other examples like case studies or opinion pieces, plain text, etc. Now, you may think that's difficult, but there are some incredible resources online. There's a couple I recommend you look at. If you've never been there before, go to Fiverr.com or Upwork.com, and you will find thousands of incredible graphic artists and videographers, not as good as the videographer at the back here, Patrick, I'm not talking about you. But you can find incredible services. Anything that you want, they will create all this content for you. Step number 6 is the Invest Now button. You've got to have an Invest Now. You've got to ask somebody to invest, and you might have that actually on your website. That might be a CTA up front and center on your website. That's where your prospect converts to being an investor. What the Invest Now button does is behind the scenes of that is it manages all the money transfers for you. It manages document execution and signature. It does tax document deliveries, right, in a timely way. Distributions from cash flow, right? Your full waterfall distributions occur behind the scenes of your Invest Now button, right? This is a whole back-end system. Finally, step 7 really is just keep going with it, right? I mean, once you build this system, it becomes an asset to your company. Right now, there are people watching my stuff right out there on social media, clicking on CTAs and moving through my funnel. My clients also, they have, once you get this out, it literally works on your behalf, raising money for you. So you only need to do this one time. So if you want to raise money online and tap into a brand new reservoir of capital to get in front of every accredited investor in the United States, if you want to have enough capital to thrive during the next downturn as well as now, not just survive, if you want to dominate your local market with people, investors, who have a vested interest, who show up at the planning meetings, right, and speak on behalf of your project, and who are also built-in potential customers for your project when you open it, then you are in exactly the right place. And I'm going to answer one gnawing question for you that you probably got, right? You're probably wondering, does this really work? It's at the end of the day, does it actually really work? Well, when I produce these kind of presentations online and deliver it online in a video training online, I answer that question by saying, well, it's what got you here, right? I mean, it got you here. Here you are. You've clicked on something. You must have found me through a thought leadership piece or in a social media site or through an email that I sent you. Of course it works. But what I've done, because that's not actually how you got here, right? So you actually traveled here. It's very nice of you, and I traveled. So I've actually put together for you a special training that runs you through some actual case studies. All right, so if you go to gowercrowd.com/case-studies, there is about a 20-minute video that walks you through some of the most proficient exponents of raising capital online. People like Origin Investments that have raised over, last year in one tweet, I like to say, I over-exaggerate a bit, one tweet they raised 105 million in 17 hours, right? Obviously they built up to that. But if you go to gowercrowd.com/case-studies, you'll be able to watch that. I cover some of the major players. You can see exactly how it works. You can see exactly what they do, and you can hopefully go back after today and implement this for yourself. I wish you the very best of luck. Thanks very much indeed for your time, and that is the end of my presentation.